We think he was a great choice, but I think one of the major benefits that we had was that we had a number of candidates for the position, and we were able to go through each player. Not that there was anything overly negative about any of them. It was legitimately a case where we felt we had a number of players that could carry that honor, and in the end, just decided as a collective group that John fit the role the absolute best at this time, and that's how we were going to go ahead. But obviously, he's very well deserving. Everything's already been written and said about him, and we haven't learned anything new about him since he's come here. And I think that's really, in the end, the reason for it. He's everything that we thought he would be, and there's nothing negative about him whatsoever. So it's great for him and a great honor for he and his family.
Kyle, was there any? Did anything change after the facility?
No, not at all. This was exactly what we had planned and what we had discussed well before that size. So it didn't affect our decision making whatsoever.
On that front, when did you actually have the conversation with John to say we want to be the captain? How do you feel?
We told John and his family. We had them in on Monday night, Monday afternoon. This past Monday afternoon. So.
How did that go?
Oh, it was great. I think Steve's got some of that coverage forthcoming from our people and from our staff and discussions with John. But he and his wife and the young little guy, the youngest of ours, were a big part of it. So it was a nice moment, and it was great to be able to share it with them.
How did you decide on how you wanted to announce the captain?
I think we went through a number of things. I think you look at the way that it's been done here before, and I think in the end we decided that we wanted to share it with the most fans that we could at the same time, and with the arena sold out and with being opening night and the number of people that will be watching, plus we thought that would just be important for our players and for our group, and sort of an understated way of doing it. No real pomp and circumstance. I know it may have been drawn out a little bit longer than everyone would have liked, but we thought it fit the person who was getting the honor and best fit what we were trying to do as an organization.
Was it a factor that he was a captain before?
Not really. It was nice that he has done that before, but we think being the captain here is probably a very different type thing than it is than most places in the league, and we just felt that he could best execute that.
Is this the right time for the organization, Kyle, to finally have the captain?
I think, Chris, having seen the team last year evolve and see the guys evolve, but also knowing all that John brought, but seeing, rather than just doing it right away or doing it when he first came in, seeing what he brought to our group each day, because I think all groups are different, and the impact that people coming and going into the fabrics of those organizations is different. But seeing the way that he was last year, I think, really put it over the top with us.
Why does it say that Austin is NA and also Mitch and Riley?
Well, Morgan will wear his permanently, and Austin and Mitch will rotate throughout the season. I think we feel that both Austin and Mitch are key leaders for our team. They happen to be the youngest leaders, Lance, and we look at our goal is to help them continue to grow. But both of them have shown in various different ways that they do it. They're very different people, but have both shown leadership for our group, and we hope to see them continue to grow on and off the ice. And Morgan, it goes without saying, has been an excellent leader for us for a long time, and that's why his alternate captain symbol is permanent.
So you had conversations with Morgan and Austin about how did they take it? They weren't going to be
Mitch always gets left out of the mix here. Yeah. It was good. We had conversations with all of them, and then we had a conversation as a collective group, but it was great. Morgan is outstanding, and we went through it all with Austin last week, and then introduced it to the group throughout the week. So, they can, I don't want to answer for them. They can give you the blow-by-blow later tonight, but I think they all understood as we looked at it, and you talked to the players and you talked to the staff. I think it became obvious that John was going to be the guy.
Mike said yesterday he called Jake Muzzin the off-ice leader of this team, and I think the road leader of this team. Why not him as one of the aces?
We thought about that, Steve. I think when we look at our leadership group, we also, when I look at it, it also includes Muzzin, Hyman, and Fred Anderson. So when we meet with the leadership group of the team intermittently throughout the season and regularly, it also includes those three. So the 4 guys who got the official designations today, plus those 3 players as well. Jake has he's got a great personality. He's got a great way of socializing with everybody within the team and making them feel welcome and a part of it. He organizes a lot of the stuff that goes on, probably stuff that the players can better speak to than I can in my role. But he's been, after initially settling in here, he's been a big part, an excellent part of the group continuing to evolve, both with his experience and what he has bringing in from LA and with his personality in general, which we knew before. But he was, we considered all different things, but in the end just decided to go ahead with that. But those guys, the other 3 that I mentioned, Hyman, Muzzin, Anderson, are a big part of our leadership group as well.
How do you like having a pros pro as your captain?
I think what we all like about it, Steve, is that we like having a guy that, no matter, and I think everyone knows what it's like to play here and operate here. There's so much great about it. And you can also be a place where, because of the passion is so great from everybody, there's always something that's around the corner and going to come up. And someone that does goes about his business and his habits the exact same way every day, so consistently, so calmly, I think sets such a great example for everybody in our locker room, not only in our locker room, but the whole organization. And that's really what we value in John. And you can call him a pro's pro, or there's so many different ways you can describe him and what he does. But we feel very fortunate and happy that he's in that role.
Whether it's history, whether it's being in the spotlight, is it different? Is it different to be a captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs or Montreal Canadiens than a lot of other places where both those things don't come into play?
It's a probably, honestly, an easier thing for people in this room that have more experience in traveling to those places more than me's eyes to answer. I've never worked in any of those places. I can only speak to going around to them and seeing the way that they handle those types of things and talking to those teams and how they handle the captaincy. I just think with the passion in the city, I think there's probably more of those cities that you could add to that list, whether it's the Rangers, Bruins, the original 6 markets, and even some that have grown rapidly into great hockey markets, where being the captain of the team entails a little bit more, both in terms of handling the passion of the fans and the amount of media and the way that thus what happens when a crisis hits and how that impacts it. It seems more it just seems more impactful than maybe in other markets, but it's honestly probably a question that you all can answer with your experience in traveling around and seeing the impact in different places better than I. This has been the only place I've been in the league so far.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen, I don't think anywhere in the league, how you told John Tavares or how he found out he was going to be captain. I don't know if you addressed that because I was here a little later, but
So yeah.
Whose idea was it? Maybe if you haven't addressed it, you could explain it, but it was an incredible emotional thing.
The creativity behind it all is standing to my left, and Steve Keogh. It was just a brainstorming session, and he came up with it and then handled the production and direction, and it was a great idea and a great moment. So that's where the credit is due. Steve Keogh and Leanne Henderson in our office, they handled it, and then Shani jumped on board. That is not my area of expertise at all. I was literally just given an assignment and execute it, and I tried not to screw it up. I don't know, Steve, what do you think? Thank you.